Andrew from the Urban Farm. Urban Farm is Ireland's first rooftop farm. It's based on King's Inn Street. It's above the Williams and Woods building on King's Inn Street. The building used to be a confectionery factory, and for the last
Sorry, it's not showing.
For the last 10 years it lay dormant. All the windows were boarded up. It's the first concrete poured building in the city, so the roof is it's a very strong roof. The roof actually used to be a workspace for the factory, so we're secure in the knowledge that the roof can hold everything that we have up there.
Sorry.
Go for it.
Yeah, there you go.
Just go for it. So what you're seeing here are potatoes. We're growing 160 different types of UK and Irish heritage potatoes. There's 320 different types in the country. So we're growing half of the collection. You can see a few of the little roots coming up there. So we're growing these potatoes for a restaurant in Temple Bar called the Boxty House. And basically the Boxty House is sponsoring the potato growing project. One of, there's lots of different names. The potatoes range from 1764 to 2004, and they also include the famine lumper. So there's a lot of different initiatives going on the rooftop. So what's happening with this one basically is when we harvest the potatoes, that's going to be coordinated with a gathering festival. So a lot of people are going to be invited back into the country because a lot of people left the country because of the potato blight. So again, this is one of the ways that the urban farm can stay a viable entity. You know, us growing food and selling it isn't going to work. We're not going to make money out of that, and that's not going to pay the rent or pay our fees or pay our water charges. So the way the urban farm is going to work is by collaborating with different brands, different restaurants, taking in sponsorship and donations, and being able to help other companies in the city garner greenness, I suppose, and through collaboration with the farm itself. Our main ethos is that we upcycle everything on the farm. So it's actually it's the world's first upcycled rooftop farm in the developing world. What these are 5-gallon water cooler bottles. So instead of they're all too tardy to be reused in actual water coolers, so we got our hands on them. Then we also use a lot of upcycled barrels, scaffold boards as raised beds, different barrel systems. A big problem with being on the roof, it's a bit sketchy, a big problem with being on the roof is that the plants dehydrate very quickly. So it's very windy up there, it's full sunshine. So actually in the base of all these drums here are water reservoirs. So the plants are basically self-irrigated to a point. And also with the water cooler bottles, also the bottom bottle, come on back, go back. So the bottom bottles on these guys are the reservoir, and there's a small bit of capillary matting inside that, and that basically wicks water up into the top grow tube. So it's a kind of self-irrigating planters. Let's move on from the potatoes. Again, none of these potatoes, because these potatoes range from 1764, a lot of them wouldn't be treated for blights and different parasites and so forth. So we'll see what actually works on the rooftop. It's the most inhospitable place to try to grow food on a rooftop. You get full wind, you get full sunshine. So, I mean, we've been called mad bees by a few different heads of gardening in the country. Again, these are vertical grow beds. These are all from pallet wood. So we deconstruct pallets, reconstruct them, turn them into vertical grow beds. Because we're on a rooftop, we're limited for space. So by growing vertically, it increases our grow space. Behind these is where our beehive is going to go eventually. The bees have been having a very bad year this year. So we're waiting to see if we actually get our hands on a bee in there. Come on now, move along. What we have, there's some different things. This is actually from a film set. That's part of the raw film set that we upcycled into a planter. This is our compost area. It's a bit of a mess at the moment. This is where City Composting Limited basically goes around the city on a cargo bike, Paddy O'Kearney, and he picks up organic waste, green waste from places like Cornucopia, Brother Hubbard's, Cafe Ruher, Damson Diner, brings it back to the rooftop and composts it. So these boxes here have been going since October of last year. So they're all full at the moment. Paddy's sown a bit of wheatgrass into the top of them to just as a nitrogen fixing. And so basically, he's slowly building up these composters, and when the soil comes out, the composters will plant in the soil and will grow food. There will eventually be a cafe on the ground floor of the building that we're in. So a lot of what we produced on the rooftop will be consumed just down the flight of stairs, and then the waste from the cafe downstairs will come back upstairs to be composted, to be turned into soil, to grow food, to go back downstairs. So that's a little cycle that's going on within the building itself. Again, because we're limited for space, we're doing a lot of vertical growing. So what we have going on here is 60 blue barrels. Within the 60 blue, come on you. Within the 60, on the 60 blue barrels are 45 plant sites. So that gives us 2,700 plant sites up there. There's 1,500 plants planted in them at the moment. You wouldn't notice it. Each of these vertical grow barrels also has a worm tower inside it. So they're self-composting vertical grow barrels. We'll see the tower now. A lot of what we grow on this is going of the food that we grow in the barrels will be going to our CSA. We have a community supported agriculture scheme. That's where people pay upfront for a share of the food that we grow on the rooftop. So back November we had a funded campaign for 4 weeks. We managed to raise €5,500, and one of our rewards on the funded campaign was that people would donate €40 to the farm. And over the course of 4 weeks during the summertime, they in return then could come up to the rooftop and pick a mixed salad off the rooftop, or if they're incapable of doing that, it would be delivered to them by a cargo bicycle within the Dublin area. So we have some people out in Dunleary, we still have to tell them that the bicycle doesn't go that far. They should really read these things. But so again, this is where the worm tower is. So organic waste would go inside that there. They're dancing on the roof. Organic waste would go inside there, and then worms also on top of that. And the worms basically migrate through the soil and the organic waste, and they help fertilize the plants that are growing in the pods. Again, we take a lot of things out of the waste stream, divert it from landfill, bring it back to the rooftop. Sometimes it looks like a knacker's yard up there. It's a complete mess because we pick up so many different things, you know. But after we break them down and rip them apart and reconstruct them, they become growing beauties. I don't know where I'm going with that one. Where we're going to now is our hen hotel. This is basically where we have the most photographed hens in Ireland, I must think. We have 8 hens up on the roof at the moment. Come on, let's go to the hens. No, all right. As I said, so there's 2,700 plant sites there, so that's quite a lot. Here's our hen hotel. Again, more vertical planters. These are all from deconstructed, upcycled pallets. We have 8 hens on the rooftop at the moment. We don't have to worry about foxes. We do have to worry about hawks. There are some hawks down by Houston Station there apparently, and somebody said they saw one hovering above the farm the other week. They have the best view in Dublin. They overlook everywhere. You can see the spire here. So we're within 500 meters of the spire. So we're fairly central to the centre of Dublin city centre. Let's go have a look at the chickens. So they're quite happy in there. They've been up there since January. They weren't laying at all over January, February, but they've started laying a lot now. So they're quite happy. Again, their eggs will be used in the bakery downstairs in the chocolate factory itself. Obviously, we can't supply all the food to the restaurant or to the bakery for its eggs and all, but we can supply a part of it, you know. So this is how the rooftop looks at the moment. Again, lots of IBC containers as raised beds, or 160 different types of potato. Big huge herb table. There's also a stage on the other side of this, and then we also host events, pop-up dinner parties. There's people launching records. There's people launching organic products on the rooftop. It's become a very much. I didn't know where I was going to go with the rooftop. I was going, how am I going to make money out of growing food on a rooftop when I have Quinsworths down here, I have Aldi here, and I have all this cheap food that people want to buy anyway, you know. But it turns out now that we don't really have to worry about selling the food or making money off the food, because there's already such a huge interest in just the rooftop as an entity in itself, as a place for display and so forth. We also have an indoor area. This is where we're trial running different aquaponics systems, hydroponics, where we'll be growing oyster mushrooms on coffee waste, microgreens. We're going to be farming tilapia fish. Tilapia is a warm water fish. Let's go to the tilapia. So here's our tilapia. Tilapia, they call it the cod of Asia. It's a freshwater fish. We imported these in from the UK. They're all white, so they're all males. The males grow a lot quicker. Tilapia, at the moment, these guys are 4 weeks old. In about 6 months, they'll be plate size and ready for eating. Something like a trout takes about 12 to 11 months, so they're quite they're a very fast grower. They will also eat, they'll eat worms or leaf, so they'll actually eat the leaf off the top of the grow beds that they're living under. So they're, I'm not going to use the word sustainable, they're a very good fish to farm it. They're also part of a niche market. Any tilapia you get in Ireland is flash frozen, imported from China or Thailand. So for us to be able to produce tilapia on the 3rd floor of the building in the city centre, people could come along and have a fresh tilapia that day. So, you know, we're finding different niches. We'll probably organise some big huge dinner party with 150 tilapia when the time comes. At that stage we'll probably only have 100 left. We'll see how we're doing. These are aquaponics systems. Again, this is more upcycled materials. These are international bulk containers. They actually came from Diageo. They used to house Bailey's Essence. This is an indoor grow chamber, so this will eventually be have 2 big hydroponic systems inside. It will be growing lots of different basils, corianders, all sorts of different things. And we're also growing a lot of chili peppers. We want to make different pestos and things, not just have chilies or have basil or coriander, but mix it all together, package it all up, put a brand on it, put it on a shelf and pop it out. Where are we going? We're germinating lots of different things. We're also, we're looking at different foods, different types of foods, different looks of food, all sorts of different things. That's probably my 10 minutes over, is it? So let's go for questions and answers. We'll let that run.
Thank you very much.